Welcome to the channel. As I said, this week we are going to be reviewing Evan Winter's Rage of Dragons. If you've been enjoying this content, please do not forget, like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you do not miss a video. As always, format for the book review, summary of the story, pros, cons, and then my final thought and ranking. With all that out of the way, let's hit the intro. So, after the brutal death of his father from a really cruel world, Tao seeks revenge on the people he deems responsible for his father's death. To do this, Tao joins the military so he can be trained as an expert swordsman so that he can take revenge on the people that he deems responsible for his father's death. But unbeknownst to him, in the middle of his training, he gets embroiled in this crazy plot that can possibly end his entire kingdom. Coming to the pro section here, and the first pro I'm going to talk about is our main protagonist, Tao. Winter does a very good job of writing Tao in a very familiar way because Tao, obviously, like I said, is driven by vengeance, so he reminds me a lot of characters like Darrow and books of this nature. Tao very much feels in the mold of someone like Darrow, but Winter was able to actually create Tao to actually stand out. He doesn't feel like a carbon copy of Darrow or any of the other book characters that are out for revenge for a family member's death. He follows that same plot line, but Winter does it in a very different way, and I really do appreciate how Winter was able to distinguish between Tao and all the other various characters that have this similar plot structure for their story. To go along with that, Tao is actually very well written from the perspective of Winter does a very, very good job writing Tao's drive to change this world that he really does see as unfair. It's really relatable the way Winter writes that aspect of Tao's character. Like I said before, Tao does feel like a very familiar character in that he's out to get revenge for a world that he really does see as unfair. Winter portrays it in a very good way that it does very much feel distinct from other books that are like this. So I really do applaud Winter for being able to write Tao in such a way that he does feel familiar, but at the same time, he very much does feel distinct from other characters that have his same arc in various books that are similar to this. Another character I really do like in this book is Tao's mentor, Jade. Jade covers this mentor Brahm-esque character. He's a jaded old man who's seen a lot, but hasn't quite lost hope. He sees a possible future in Tao. Winters does a very good job with Jade's character he explains his motivations really well, and it is very much a familiar story of a man who has lost everything. But again, Winters does a very good job making Jade feel familiar to characters like this, but still making Jade feel very much distinct in this book. Like, you can see the influences of characters like Brahm and other mentor characters, but Jade never really feels like a carbon copy of any of them. So I really do applaud Winter from being able to do that. Another thing I really did like and noticed that Winter did with Jade's character is he made Jade and Tao parallels for each other. They are both men who have lost everything and are willing to do whatever it takes to change the world. But Tao, I think, goes a way farther than he really needed to. And Jade is the one with the vision of what the future can be. That there can be a better world without Tao's whole violence thing. So I really do like the dichotomy between the two of them. I feel like Winter did a very good job writing that, and as I was reading it, I was thinking, okay, these guys are paralleling each other. So I really do appreciate that Winter took the time and effort to be like, these two guys are different sides of the same coin. One just has gotten way out of hand, and one has a plan for the future. Third thing I really like about this book is the careful planning and effort Winter put into this world's world building. So Winter put in a ton of effort into this world building, and you can feel it, and you can see how it's structured. It's not like a regular European type fantasy. It takes a lot of cues from like African culture and stuff. So I really appreciate that Winter didn't just go with the easy route and do a European style fantasy. He did a very much different style fantasy. So I truly do appreciate that. And I feel like that really sets this book apart from other books that are similar to this that I've read recently. Just the fact that he took the time to go through and put in this sort of African influence. So I really do appreciate that he took all that effort to make his world stand out in a bunch of books that are very much similar. So I really do appreciate that he took the effort to put a lot of African influence into his book and not just use the simple European fantasy formula. So coming to the cons section here, the first con I want to talk about is the fact that the magic system gets explained very late in the story. And this is really because Tao never really gets involved too much with the magic system until he starts messing around with it to use it to help his training. Now, this I feel like was a very interesting idea because Tao was never being trained to use this world's magic system like every other character in a book like this is. He's a straight up warrior, so the magic system isn't that relevant for him. I like this and I don't like this at the same time. The reason I like this is because, again, like I said, this is very much a different take on a book like this. Normally, in a book like this, the main character gets taught the magic system to use it to fight against the oppressive system, whereas this one, Tao is just, again, like a straight up warrior, so he doesn't really learn the magic system at all until he starts messing around with it, and I really like that. Reason I don't like this is because the magic system is so interesting and it's a bit different than anything else that I've read in a book like this. So it's like, okay, come on, Winter. I get why you had to keep this in your back pocket because it wasn't entirely relevant to Tao's story arc. It wasn't really that relevant. But come on, you have such an interesting system here. Why wouldn't you want to show this off more? So I know it's not a big con because there is a very good reason why he had to keep the magic system under wraps for so long, but I really feel like Tao needs to get a big explanation on what the magic system is and what it can do in the second book. So I really hope Winter takes the time to go through with Tao and be like, okay, this is how the magic system works, and this is what it can do. Again, we somewhat got that, but it wasn't until very, very late into the book, and it wasn't even that detailed. So I really hope for the second book, Winters goes through and gives us that big explanation that I was really looking forward to. So the second and final pro I want to talk about is the fact that Kellan and Tao work together at the end of this book. Tao's main rival through most of the book is a guy named Kellan. So the two of them are constantly going head to head against each other because Tao believes that Kellan is responsible for the death of his father. So you really understand the motivation that Tao has to take this guy down. And throughout the entire book, it is a very good rivalry because it isn't a one-sided rivalry. There are parts in the book where Tao gets an explanation of why Kellan had to do what he did. And we do get Kellan's perspective of that particular event. So I really do like that. So I really do like their rivalry. I feel like it's a very good driving force of the book, and Winters did a very, very good job building that rivalry up naturally and letting us see both sides of the argument, because you obviously get Tao's argument the entire time, but there are only a couple books where I can think of where we actually get to see a rival's point of view of their rivalry. So I really do like that. But towards the end of the book, there's that big event I talked in the summary about. That all starts, and the two of them more or less bury the hatchet and start working together. Now, I understand why Winter had to have the two of them sort of bury the hatchet and go and focus on the bigger threat. You guys are in in the middle of something really, really serious. You guys gotta put away your petty squabbles and deal with this for the moment. I'm kind of like, okay, come on. We had most of the entire book to build up their rivalry, and I really wanted to see their rivalry, how it would affect them working together. And for the most part, they pretty much just don't even care that the other is working with them. They're all like, all right, we got a bigger threat and we have to deal with this. I understand again why that had to happen, but I really wish during that final part of the book, Winter had been like jumping back and forth and being like having banter between the two of them. That A would have started building a camaraderie between the two of them and also giving a bit more character depth to both of them. Again, I understand why, but I really wish Winter had just taken advantage of the two of them being together and being not super friendly, but trying to understand the other's point of view. Would have made the two of them better characters in the long run. Alright guys, so final thoughts on the book here. I really did like this book. I loved the characters. I loved the world that Winter created for the book. It feels very much familiar, but yet distinct from anything that I've read. So I really applaud Winter for being able to write something this familiar as a revenge plot, but still giving it a very new twist with this sort of African influences. So I really do applaud him for being able to do that. Even despite the cons that I talked about with the magic system being explained so late and Tao and Kellen's relationship being patched up that quickly, I understand why Winter had to do that for the magic thing. Tao really didn't need an explanation, so by proxy, we didn't really get one. And with the Tao and Kellen thing, I understand that they were really focused on a bigger threat. Even despite that, this book is very much a very good read that I would recommend for anyone who wants a good fantasy series to get into right now. So I'm going to give Evan Winters Rage of Dragons an 8 out of 10. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching the video. Please do not forget, like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you do not miss anything. Down in the comments, if you guys have read Rage of Dragons and want to discuss it, please feel free to discuss it. Please keep it spoiler free for anyone who hasn't read it and wants to read it. Other than that, feel free to discuss the book if you want. Down in the comments, if you guys have books you want me to do reviews on in the future, you can leave them down there. If you guys want to follow me on social media, I will leave a link to my Instagram, which is Riley Murray Book Reviews, and my Twitter, which is Riley T. Murray. I'll leave links to both of those accounts if you guys want to go and follow them. Next week, we will be doing our review of Erin Cofor's High Five. So make sure you are subscribed to the channel so you do not miss that video. As always, have a great week, and don't forget, keep on reading.